I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now that time.
It's anticlimactic.
For Victor Allen. New Sports. Mario Isley did this intro. It's the new intro. I have it installed. I like that big helmet. Dum, dum, bum, bum, bum. There he is, getting a headache. We're supposed to have the camera cut back to you.
Yeah, look, man, I'm not trying. First of all, I was waiting for the women to break through.
Yeah.
You know how they come out of the tunnel at the football game and they break through the paper. I'm going, now that's football. I've seen that picture before, right? That's me. Oh yeah, man, that's all. But I like what you did, man. I'm serious, I do. I think you worry about it more. I think you have to let the room or the chat room give you a vote of what they think you've done.
Yeah, you guys right in, because the whole thing was we're doing new intros, and then it was supposed to be a sports intro.
Right.
That was the whole thing, and what kind of music. That's what we were working on. It was the whole issue, but I got the helmet smashed.
No, hey, look, football season. My favorite sport, football. I'm sorry,
that's a little too dry. PMC. See. PMC but I'm just saying, y'all know what the issue was. If you try to make it hip hop, you got to make it's short. Yeah. It's a short intro.
Yeah, depending.
And then you still need the graphics.
Hey, they say they have movement, speed, flash. You says,
well, I just found the right video.
No, you did good,
add the sound to it.
Yeah, you did good. Hey, you guys, welcome to New Sports. Man, it's been a while. I think the last time I talked about something, there was no football season, not even a preseason. Right now, you're fully loaded, but I'm going to say this. Yesterday was a day that may have covered so many angles when you're talking about winning in your home city, winning in the last moments of a game in your home city in two sports that have a lot of importance. So I have to give love out to Boston. Now, I know it's going to be hard for a lot of you guys.
That's hard, massive hard. You really, you're going to make me do that.
Yeah, I got to give love.
I'm old, too.
Yeah, I got to give love to Boston.
No.
Because this is one of those things where I'm going to start with the football game first. Let's just say this. I can cover, Philadelphia. I can cover Arizona, Carolina. Also, the effort by the Jacksonville Jaguars. But that's not what was really in play. Everybody was waiting for the undefeated breezy machine to come into New England. Let me say this right offhand. I saw one of the worst performances, as both quarterbacks will probably attest to, in saying we did not play up to the level that we're supposed to, meaning that passes being made that are not traditionally the ones that a Breezy, I'm just going to call him Breezy, I can't help it, that's just the way, Drew Brees, and of course Tom Brady would like to have back. But if you give a team multiple possessions in the last 3 or 4 minutes, you're going to lose. But I have to turn around and say this. If you want to talk about a game that was meant to be played with inches, I actually had to go look for photos to say, what's the correlation between yesterday's game with the New England Patriots, who actually won 30-27, and the baseball playoffs where the Tigers were threatening to go into Boston and take 2 games. There are 2 home games. They both came out on top by inches. So here's my question. How close was the game? So I had to put in perspective as if Mario didn't watch the game and nobody else watched the game. So I have a couple of pictures here. And you're going to roll to them. I'm going to show you how close it was.
Okay.
Tom Brady made a pass to Tompkins. And I'm saying this. When you look at how close that pass was, almost to the point of just being tipped. Could have changed the whole landscape of the game. I said, no big deal. That's Brady. Brady does that. That's what he's known for. Hall of Famer. Got to give it to you. I can't get mad. Rob Ryan, your defense, it just wasn't up to par. And I will show his frustration. But then I said, let me look at the correlation between the Boston Red Sox and go look at the picture that actually shows inches. So you see 2 games here where they missed. Just Torrey Hunter being known as the defensive player multiple times over in center field, inches away.
It's just like sex. It's a game of inches.
Inches away.
It's a game of inches.
So here's my question. You know what? That's wrong. So I had to come up with this. Boston's favorite sons wins in game of inches. And who are their favorite sons? Their favorite sons are Big Papi, probably the most popular Red Sox player, comes up, hits the grand slam in the 8th inning. They go on to come from behind, win 6-5. Bam, everybody's celebrating. Now imagine that stadium sitting there and getting the updates from the New England Patriots game where people started to leave.
Oh.
They were leaving after a throw that was, of course, not Brady-esque.
Right.
So people are leaving. Now all of a sudden, the cheers. I call it the Irish. The look at the Irish is in the room. Is this like Celtic mania? Is this the Boston Celtics who are saying, well, that's 2 out of 3. Okay, so here's my point, Mark.
Little leprechaun.
Let me say this. Let me just say this. Here's the picture that I think is the climactic part of this whole night. Here's security. Security is saying, hell yes. While Torrey Hunter says, I will die for this game. And his legs are sprawled up in a game of inches. So if you had to pick the game that you would think had the most energy, the most enthusiasm, here's the question, you guys. Which game would you want to be at, Mario? Think about it.
I want to be in the game where the man stands on his head. That's the one.
So let me just say it.
Yeah.
Brady,
he got a mustache like the Whispers.
Wait a minute. Brady throws the play of the game, 5 seconds remaining, touchdown, they win. Or Red Sox Nation and Torrey Hunter's going over the wall. Which game would you have rather been at? The football game or the baseball game?
Man, it's a game of inches. Look at this. I have to go with the football game.
Got to go with the football game?
Look at this.
Yeah, it is.
Look at this.
That's right.
Look at this. It was a game. It was a hell of a game.
It was definitely a hell of a game. So here's my point. Mario, I think you picked the right one. You know why?
Fish and grits.
You're strong. Because 5 seconds to go. So it's really the last play of the game, right?
You know what, Vic? It was a hell of a game. And not only that, it was a spectacle. And it just reaffirmed everything you like about football in some ways. Yes. And it really was one of those games where no matter what, even the losing people, what can you say?
Right.
Wow, but just wow.
Now, what I do like about this, the reason why I had to pick the football game over the baseball game is because Detroit did have a chance to come back because it was the 8th inning when Big Papi hit the home run. But everybody's talking about Torrey Hunter and that play. If you go and want to see the video, it really, in the speed that it's going, when he tumbles over that wall, there's so many pictures of his legs being up in the air.
He is trying. He is stretching. He is. Look at that stretch. And then it's an awkward stretch. He has to do, he's doing his utmost.
Right.
Oh.
Okay, so here's the point, Marv. This is where I said, is this the greatest playoff, or let's just say, the greatest night of 2 major sports in Boston's history? Because they had 2 games.
Please don't ask me about Boston's history.
Man. I have to, man, because this is pertinent. We would do it if it was L.A., right?
1 if by land, 2 if by sea.
Okay, come on, wait. Let me ask the chat room. Okay, if you had two industries of football, 2 competitions going, baseball, football, you are both trailing in both games. People are probably leaving out of both games. And as you leave out of either or game, baseball or football, you come back to win.
I think it's cool, even though to make it ultimate, you need the Celtics.
I thought about that. I did.
Or at least it comes up in your head.
But it doesn't overlap.
But that's still what a night for Boston. Except it happens to be Boston, and I'm not going to give y'all any.
But okay, are you being objective?
Where's my sound effects?
Okay, so you're not going to support my sports segment because you have to be biased against Boston. Okay, are you mad at Boston? Well, let me do this. Let me help you out with this. Let me pick the teams that underachieved. Would that make you feel better?
No.
Okay, let me do this. Start with football. this is the part I'm going at. If you ever want to see a frustration and an image of frustration, when you know that your team is doing a hell of a job and you're about to win, and then all of a sudden in the last minute or so, you see this. Okay. If you had to see the progressive picks of what they call the guy knowing that, hey, you know what, we got this. Let me tell you what I thought was happening with Rob Ryan and Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. They got conservative. Right. They really got conservative. I think Drew Brees was not on his game.
They had 2 possessions, right?
And look,
to do something.
And let me say this. You can't blame it on Talib Kweli taking out Graham, because part of the New Orleans comeback in the second half totally dealt with the run game. And so they just couldn't stop the Patriots.
No, you couldn't stop them.
So,
but what a job by Talib all season so far.
Yeah, but he got injured.
I know, I saw, but yeah. I hope it's not long.
No, I do. Look, they got some issues going on. Even with the hitting was off the chain in this game. Everybody was really hitting. It was really underperformed by the quarterbacks, only because the defenses were, doing their job a little bit better. Both quarterbacks underperformed. I hate to say it. It was just who came out with the best pass in the last moments. That was Brady. So I'm saying now that the New Orleans Saints are not undefeated anymore, it's not a big issue. I think they represented well playing under.
It's overrated. Undefeated is like being a virgin. They cry, they bleed, they fall in love.
Okay, that's
wrong. The same.
That's wrong.
I'm just saying, undefeated. You really want one?
Yo, that's wrong. All right, let me do this and give props for a few teams that needed it. Jacksonville showing up to cover the spread. I'm just announcing this real quick. Cover the spread because they thought Denver.
They did a good job. Excellent.
People was going, whoa. So Vegas came up big time because a lot of people probably took the spread. Also, let me just also give a shout out to the Oakland Raiders putting on a great job in the first half to take us back to what they usually do in the second half. Kansas City still undefeated. Pittsburgh, give props out to UPMC. Your team finally won against the New York Jets.
Props to PMC.
Got to give it to them. So all good. Carolina showing up, doing their job. I love what they're doing. Arizona, we'll keep going. So with that being said, I give my respect to certain cities, but let me go over to what I think is going to be the question that's coming up right now, and it's hitting everywhere. Everybody's talking about the SEC. They got 8 teams in the top 25. Most all-time in the BCS era. So since they got 8, and since we all know that Alabama right now is the spot that's holding down the spot for the championship game, should there be another SEC team in the final BCS championship just because they have 8 strong teams? Or, Maury, would you like to see, no matter how strongly rated the SEC is, for better ratings, because they don't play against the same style of teams all the time. You get upended sometimes, like playing against Boise State.
Oh, yeah, totally.
BYU.
Totally get
when
upended.
you go into different places and you're not prepared for that style, they can always upend you.
Totally.
Would you prefer that a game be out of different conferences and not 2 teams in the same conference?
Well, I like cross conference. Yeah, I like the cross conference. Even though you guys, I'd still. Okay. Even I always have to make this issue about this whole thing about having a college championship.
Right.
And whether or not you can actually work it out, because it has a whole scheduling issue.
Right.
With class and everything else, you get a super long season. So I don't know, but yeah, big cross conference.
I'm stuck here because I do know that there's Alabama. They're not totally separated from everybody because they don't have the defense. I do so understand that the top teams, and I'm not trying to represent just Pac-12 West Coast, they rated the schedule of strength of the top conferences, and Pac-12 is number 1 clearly. So the remaining games for the SEC are not at the same level.
Right, but here's the thing. That's what the point is, though. They often do that. Then when the teams play each other, it doesn't seem to follow. Right, they don't seem to necessarily follow some of the. That's the excitement in it.
Right,
that they often the highly ranked team in one conference gets upset by the highly ranked team in a different conference.
And if you actually have let's just look at it this week. SEC has its own contract in media, so
and hype because it has a whole culture because of the communities that it serves.
Right. Now, let me say this: I do tend to watch the SEC a lot. Between the SEC, the Big 12,
choice actually,
and the Pac-12, I watch
they show on TV.
But I'll say this: I'm just saying, when you don't get to watch the games because of the lateness of the hour, even if you go far west, it's unfair because they don't get an objective point of view of the team competition. So if the ratings of the Pac-12 is high, why in the heck why would they actually say, well, if we keep a Pac-12 team up in the second or third position, would you rather see that, or would you rather see it this way? Number 1 and number 2 SEC. Well, is it better?
No, I like it. I think that's what. I bet if you polled, did anybody poll the fans?
I think what's going to happen, Mario, they only care about what's going to. There's no strong love for the West Coast or the western part of the United States. It's just not that way. I mean, I'm not mad at them. They only get what they are, subjected to. I would love to see some other representative conference, but when you get a lot of play on your conference, the illusion is that you're clearly the best. It only means you have 8 teams in there. It doesn't mean that's the best teams. So my point is this: stay tuned. We got more games to play. I'm getting ready to get out of here, man, because this is my short thing. Because I can't cover NASCAR. I can't cover.
Why?
I can't cover it all, man. I got to go. I got to get to Hot Picks because it's a special thing for Hot Picks, man. Special. So let me out of here, man. You going to use my new? Oh.
Yeah. Grab your jock straps. Oh, manly sports. Rough and tumble. There he is. That's some scary stuff right there.